So if you can forgive me, if some of you are up to speed, I will not be offended at all if you leave in the middle of the meeting. This is not like our normal dojos. Our normal dojos, because we deal more with like personal electricity, we kind of have a rule where we always start exactly on time, which we will do that. We always end exactly on time. I really hope we'll do that. But more importantly, that none of us, if any of us were to leave, it would sort of just known as it's considered rude. I want you to know that in this dojo, that's not the case. In fact, I'm more than willing to, I'm hoping that I can do as best I can as a mod to kind of give you the flavor of what I'm thinking we're going to be talking about, and then letting you decide from there. So if you're a part of the DAO and you just even like to check in for 5 minutes and then you're going to leave, or if you're not a part of DAO, you just want to say hi, it's totally okay to do that here. If you do that in dojo, it's a different story. So that's just a real quick clarification. Since it's a minute to go and we're getting a bigger crowd, let me just go ahead and go over the rules of how we do dojo. Typically there's a moderator. I think today I'll probably just be moderator. We raise our hands in here. I don't want you to feel like you have to raise your hand. If you feel appropriate and you just want to say something, please say something. It's just that if you do raise your hands, it's just a way of knowing for sure, absolutely, that the moderator is watching for those hand raises and will be calling on people in the order that they raise their hand. David Trainer just raised his hand, for example. Now David can kind of relax because he's like, okay, I've established that. Now I could just listen. And then when it's time to come. So anyway, that's how it goes. Try and keep this to, I don't even know how long these meetings are going to be because I don't know how much we need to cover and how much we don't. In fact, I might even end up turning this into a really, really basic course only after I give the people that already know their way around an opportunity to exit, but also say something. In fact, we'll probably end up doing that. Wow, we got a nice crowd forming here. Great. So we're a minute after, so I will officially begin. Welcome to CryptoDojo number 4. I believe that it is number 4. Thank you, Melanie. So much has happened since our first CryptoDojo, like so much. One of those things is we started a freaking DAO. It's I've never been so excited in my life. And if you guys are new, we started a website, Dojo Earth, about a year ago. And for a long time, we had a social network running inside there. We still have that website. It's just simply turned off right now. We turned it off in the spring. The elder council that runs Dojo Earth, I'm one of those people, decided, yeah, let's let Osiris rest. We will resurrect Osiris when and if the time is right. And when I said that then in June, I was like, I know that we were bringing Dojo Earth back, but I'm really glad that we're going to let the soil lay fallow for a little bit. Part of that laying fallow was that we had built that system in WordPress, which is just kind of a nightmare. There's a lot of upgrade issues that happened with that. It was really taxing me, my time so much. But without being compensated for that time, it was really draining my energy. And additionally to that, there was a whole bunch of other things going on too. It was just a really interesting vote when we even voted to do that. I do not speak for Dojo Earth, although I do own the property Dojo Earth, but we do have an elder council. It's basically just people who've been in the dojo for a while. And I would think that I'm under the impression that this DAO and the website will somehow merge. But I just want you to know that I'm not really authorized to speak fully to those things. I'm just telling you what I think will possibly happen or not happen. However, this DAO doesn't even have to be called the Dojo Earth DAO, not at all. I have no attachments to anything with the exception of I would like to see how this experiment unfolds. I would like for any of you putting money into the DAO to look at this as a constructive educational experiment that could end up being something that's really, really profitable. I say could because I don't want anyone to, a lot of DAOs that are out right now are financial DAOs that are based purely on, if you join this DAO, you're going to make a shitload of money. I'm not able to say that right now. it could be that the day may come where we've constructed something that I feel so convinced that it would make money that I might actually be in a meeting saying, yeah, if you join this DAO right now, you're going to make money. But that's not where I'm at. In fact, to start up the DAO, as founders of this thing, you guys are really having to do a lot of heavy lifting, because in order to start this DAO, we're going to have to do some minting on the blockchain. We're going to have to create some tokens. And those processes, after creating those tokens, we're going to have to assign those tokens. And all three of those duties are going to require gas. So the money that we've raised in this DAO is already at threat, because in order for us to get to that point where I'm not the one holding the keys, all of us collectively are going to have to create a smart contract, which protects all of us and anyone else that puts their money into that. This is where we go into governance. Before we begin, though, I'm actually going to go ahead and do a round of feedback, questions, introduction. If anyone has anything at all that they want to say, you feel like it's better that you say that now, please do raise your hand. I'm about to call on David, but we can do that too. We'll do, as a round of these, see how it goes, and then maybe I'll just talk more about the DAO. Unless I found out most of you guys aren't even in the DAO and you just want to do other stuff. So let's just see what happens. So David, please unmute, and thank you for being here. Piece of candy.
Hey everyone. First of all, thank you, James and Melanie, for getting this set up, because it's kind of the push I needed to get started here. So thank you for that. And on Christmas Day, I decided to figure out how to add my wallet to Dojo Earth. That was my goal. And I was tooling around on my iPhone and found out that not really the best way to do it. Use a Chrome browser. It's the best way to do it if you're going to mess with it, because I wasted a few hours trying to do it other ways. And also, like you have stated in other meetings, you do really have to be careful with those keys. And when you are sending things, because I actually sent twice before I realized it when I was just looking. So I sent to the dojo twice, and I'm grateful. If I was going to make an error, that's where I made it. And I didn't put anything more in there than I could afford. So, and I think that was some great direction that we got in the previous dojos, if anyone new here hasn't seen them. And I just wanted to share that and just say thanks.
Thank you, David. And because I'm in charge of the keys right now, which I covered that earlier, I don't want to be in charge of the keys. I'm happy to send that money back to you, David. Okay,
no,
I just want you to know that is an option. If anyone else accidentally sent money to the DAO because we haven't established the governance, I control all the money, so I can send it back to you. So just let me know. Definitely do that.
But no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I just want to make sure that's clear. Thank you, David. Erica, go ahead.
Hi. Just treat me like a total rookie and explain to me what the DAO means.
Great.
Yeah.
Perfect. So a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. And so if you could think about it, DAO would be our collective will placed into a smart contract. The smart contract is basically what you will find will destroy all lawyers in the future. What we see is a job now called being a lawyer. I don't actually think is going to be a thing very soon. That most all these agreements, people will find them simply safer for themselves. They'll feel that way. They'll feel better inside a smart contract. Smart contract is basically just an algorithm. It's an algorithmic agreement that's made between people. So we as a DAO have the ability to utilize our witness by converting it into ether, pure raw pranic power, and putting that ether into a collective conglomerate and specifying what we want that conglomerate to do, what we consider it to be moral decisions that it makes, what we consider to be profitable decisions that it makes, and going forward. So a DAO is a very, very loose term. It could literally be what we have and we're done. The DAO could be give James Drew keys to your ether for no reason at all. Now we're done. That's a horrible DAO. I don't want to do that, but that would technically be a DAO because it's a decentralized autonomous. Actually, it's not decentralized because I would be in charge. So until we get that done, we're not actually there yet. So if you look at it as a community garden, a plot of land that all of us have decided to buy together, and that plot of land is going to bring fruit or not bring fruit, depending on what we either collectively do or even individually do. Now, my big want, the thing that I'm going to require for my money to be in the DAO, which I've not actually fully, I've only put in just a little bit at the beginning just to make sure the wallet's working. I'm actually purposely waiting. But my agreement with the DAO is going to be very, very based on what our governance algorithm is. The Iroquois Confederacy is a model that I've written about a few years ago, so much so that I was describing this DAO without even realizing that that's what a DAO is. But I was describing a world where each of us would choose where we want the government to spend the volunteer potlatch that we're choosing to bring to the potlatch tent. And that they would choose that by being able to allocate which percentage of our funds we wanted to go into different projects. The underlying root of all this is a unanimous government. We don't live in a unanimous government. We live in a majority rule government. These things are very, very, very different. I'm under the impression, I could be wrong, but I'm under the impression that we could start a DAO that looks just like the Iroquois Confederacy. An idea of 3 different branches. This is how the American government was formed, this bicameral system with an executive branch, that those systems were actually all outlined by the Iroquois Confederacy, except for it had one huge difference. Their system was unanimous. Our system was not. This is a colossal difference because it's putting the collective ahead of the individual. But in a unanimous situation, it's actually the individual that holds complete veto over the entire collective. So instantly right out of the gate, I hope that logically you would see that, wow, this DAO is, in James's mind, James is looking for a DAO that's actually very limited, that doesn't actually have a lot of pull unless everyone's on board. And the very first DAO that we make, it's important you hear the word first, this DAO is actually going to be something a little bit drier, what you might even call more boring than other DAOs that I think would find a good home inside of our DAO. That our DAO is sort of just the Confederacy itself. And that Confederacy itself is nothing more than we, the Haudenosaunee, agree to meet under the white cedar tree every year at the new moon, for example. And that really is the only agreement that they have, that nothing else is promised, nothing else is in line, none of it. It's simply an agreement to meet. And that we as the Dojo DAO could simply just be that agreement. The reason why I like it that way is because if it's a unanimous DAO, that would work perfectly, because if Tammy had an idea, she may not get everyone else in the DAO on board, which means that the DAO itself would not be able to be congruent with Tammy's idea. However, because of how we structured our DAO, Tammy is able to team up with me and Mike and Alina to do something else that becomes its own DAO. So I'd like for you to consider that what we are creating is something really freaking cool, because it could be an incubator for other DAOs to get started. And how we would incubate that is by providing a very basic infrastructure for these other DAOs that may come later. When I say basic, I mean, we don't want to be polarized. We don't want to be salacious even. What we want is simply to provide the land where other braves, other other tribes, other conglomerates that are a part of us are allowed to thrive and do their thing. So we're more the plumbing underneath the ground. We're more the layout of how the streets should flow. That's really all I want this DAO to do, is just those things. And once that's established, I would hope that it would be an inviting enough territory, a green enough turf, where each of us would individually consider other DAO projects inside of this larger DAO. Because those other projects, they could either choose to fork our DAO and be a unanimous type government that runs, or they could be something different that I have never even considered, or something that you know is a good idea, but you haven't been able to demonstrate that to other people yet, which is why you would start something inside and pull from our resources to create something new. So that infrastructure that we would provide, that this DAO provide, this is just one vision, by the way, but that infrastructure would really be a property, a physical place where people could connect with each other, some sort of coordinator, some kind of director who coordinates people. I actually would not be the best for that person, but I know that we will have someone who will be, and maybe a token. If we had our own token, then if someone else wanted to try a new idea, they wouldn't have to necessarily convince people to give a wallet that they didn't know some of their money, that in fact, they could actually simply create that DAO using our Potlatch token, using our Tribal token. If we were to simply create a token and have that backed by our treasury, I think that token itself would be could be used as a vehicle under this unanimous governance system that we built, that would allow other people to bootstrap and do things that we've never considered, and that our DAO, because of our ability to provide that base root for it, would in fact grow and prosper because of what was happening on top of that token, basically. All token contracts that you see, all DAO contracts that you see that you might encounter in the world, because they're open source and on the blockchain, any one of us is allowed to go fork that project. Basically, you're going up to the, think of these DAOs almost as vending machines, and you're going up to that vending machine. You're like, I love this vending machine. It's got juice. It's got a cute little apple guy on the logo. This is great. And you would fork that vending machine and turn it into a lemonade machine. It's basically the same ideas, the same code that's helping you to support it, but it's supporting a different project right now. I would hope that we as a DAO would have those vending machines already kind of pre-thought out. A lot of work has already gone into them, and that those vending machines could be utilized to do other things. So I guess if you want to picture what a DAO is, I think probably a vending machine that we all collectively own, that we get to decide, A, what's in it, B, are there things in it, C, what coins are required to get something out, and D, even more importantly, what profoundly magical things that we haven't even considered happens when a nickel is dropped in that slot. Because that nickel can do a lot of things automatically because we developed a smart contract that makes that work. So the DAO, in a way, is you having a rig or a vehicle to start to play with blockchain that you don't have to have. But if we were to build something constructive, you would find it easier to do things, and everyone else in the DAO would too. One of those things would definitely be that money that you've given to the DAO would somehow give a return to you. That you putting money in the DAO treasury that you trust because you've seen the governance that's in place for it, even has a rate that it's offering you for putting your potlatch, entrusting it inside the DAO. This is very basic stuff right now. Most of the DAOs that you see that are starting are in the field of banking. Why? Because banks are simply dinosaurs. They're not as nimble as you might think. I know in our minds, we think, oh, well, these people running the finances, they're on top of everything. No, they think we landed on the moon. They think that they need 17 boosters. They don't know what's happening yet. And I need you guys to keep that in mind, that what's happening instead is you're watching all these DAOs pop up with, I'm gonna show you one. Let's see, go to desktop. Let's see if I can zoom. I'm not sure. Okay. Let's go to DAO. Olympus DAO. This is one example of a DAO. This happens to be a financial banking DAO. Can somebody confirm you're looking at the OHM site as I'm on this? Okay, thank you.
Yep, it looks good.
This is a financial DAO. It doesn't mean that DAOs have to be financial. This just happens to be a financial DAO. And one of the things that they do is that they've launched a token. And if you hold that token, meaning if you buy that token and you hold that token, that token earns you interest. That token now by Olympus DAO sells for $374.42. It's backed though by a treasury that has $105 per token inside it. What does that mean? It means that the total value deposited into this one OHM is $2 billion. $2.6 billion has been deposited in this OHM. Why? Because a bunch of people like us sat down and said, let's make a DAO. The result of that is $2.6 billion. My goal for the Dojo Earth DAO is not to create a banking DAO. I'm just using that as an example. But that the reason why all those people are buying the OHM token is simply because it's profitable. That by doing what's called staking OHM, by keeping your money in that bank and sort of promising them by staking it, that I'm here to stake my money, that they're slowly given rewards, and that those rewards are actually pretty substantial. They're so substantial that they have a $2 billion balance. You're looking at a bank that has no building, no ATM machine, no teller, and they have $2.6 billion in there. Not only do they have that, but they have smart contracts that they implement that allow a consumer to tap money from that bank to do something with it and then pay it back with interest. So the OHM project itself is a profitable organization. The vending machine lets you buy coffee. It's got a heater in there. It brews it. It puts a cup out. It does it all. It's amazing. It's so amazing that 5 or 6 other projects said, hey, let's start a DAO. And that when they started the DAO, they all said, well, what kind of DAO should we start? And after many discussions and many researchers, they decided to come back to this DAO and say, I really like Olympus's DAO. I like that they're the only token, one of the few tokens that actually has a backing in a treasury. This is not something that just happens with all tokens. The reason why OHM is backed is because when you put a nickel in their vending machine, no matter whose nickel it is, automatically the price of that coffee has been raised by 1 cent, and that 1 cent, no matter what, goes to this DAO. So if you want to use their token, a penny is going to go into this DAO bank. Now that's not exactly how OHM works. I just want you to start to think about that's how their system is set up. That you can control what we do with our token because it's our token. We created that token and people know beforehand what the token will do and what it can't do. OHM, believe it or not, if you hold OHM tokens, you wait 8 hours and you wake up and you have more OHM tokens. That's literally how the OHM project grew. It's one of the first projects that said, if you put money in our bank, we will give you interest, not every month, not every year. We will give you interest every eight hours. And that made people go, holy shit. Some of those people went to OHM and say, not only do I love OHM, but we want to start our own DAO. And so they forked the OHM project and made a different project. This is just one of many. This is called Time Wonderland. I bring this one up because they happen to be one of the biggest on the Avalanche chain. We'll get into chains later, but their treasury balance is almost as big as ohms. This is a forked project too. They took Ohm's project, copied it, and they're almost as big as they are. I don't want to bore you with why they're doing so well, but it has to do with different chains and that they're saving fees by taking the fork of Ohm, but moving it to a different neighborhood, a neighborhood that isn't used to having people with lots of money, but instead is appealing to investors that have smaller money, and that you're watching the proof that there's smaller money that is getting into banking now. That's what made their project so successful, is they took something that worked and they put it in a different location, and boom, it took off. Those are just banking DAOs. That's all they are. Our DAO, I think, probably should stay out of banking. I think that our DAO, because if we were going to set it up as a unanimous government, I think our DAO would be better as simply having a staked treasury that generates interest, and that interest could either be paid in raw tokens or could come out to our founders through some other monetary compensation. In other words, we as a collective could combine our money, and that money would allow us to invest it in projects through smart contracts that make us feel secure, but would actually generate more revenue because we had a larger treasury to take to a different place, basically. I'm going to stop now and let all that kind of absorb in. We're still taking questions, so I'm going to call on Alex, and go ahead, my friend. Can't hear you, Alex. You're muted.
How about now?
There you go. Go ahead, man.
Glad to be here. Very new crypto. I tried, I think it was Ethereum and Litecoin the first time. Within 2 days, the $20 I put in turned into 25 and 30. Quick. But I'm not exactly sure how to use the wallets and the stuff that you talk about. I tried to sign into one of them that I got a message from, or a link. And I think I linked up my bank accounts and stuff, but I'm not sure how to use it and all that stuff. So I'm really interested in learning everything I can.
All right, great. Yeah, the wallet thing is probably the biggest hurdle starting out, and learning how to set up that wallet, learning how to connect to a site with the wallet is a lot to absorb. In fact, David, you're absolutely right that it's much harder through the iPhone. But I just learned the other day how to do it in the iPhone. You actually would launch the app called MetaMask, and then inside MetaMask, there's a link that says browser. You click on browser, then you go to the website. It's backwards, I know, but boom, that's how you get your wallet. I want us all to, the minimum requirement to participate in this DAO is you're going to have to be very, very comfortable with that wallet. And I think that that's actually part of what Dojo Earth as a DAO is already doing right out of the gate, because I'm under the impression that what would help this world the most right now is to have a circle of people that are learning this together, and that's allowing other people to learn too. I believe that community is part of the most vital product that this DAO would represent, and that people that are brand new to crypto, not only are they learning the wallet, but now they have opportunities to learn something more, which is what the hell's a DAO, and to start participating in that. I'm under the impression that what we think of as jobs now won't be here very soon. In fact, if you're on top of it, you'll be doing exactly what you're doing right now, which is participating in a DAO. And that you might find that you may have 3 or 4 or 5 DAOs, and that our kids will only see a world like this. Will they be called DAOs? Probably not. It'll probably be some other word that we don't know about. But you're already watching that happen in real time right now. Axis Infinity is a project in Singapore, Southeast Asia. If it's not Singapore, it's Southeast Asia. I'd like you to consider that Axis Infinity is a DAO. But what is Axis Infinity? It's a mobile phone game. It's a mobile phone game in one of the world's poorest countries, and it's literally overthrowing their government. Why? Because the game Axis Infinity pays its players in money to play. And it's probably really difficult to wrap your brain around how the fuck would a project like that work? And it's part of why you're here. Understanding why this economy is running this way is going to be tricky. And I want you to have a tribe of people that find it tricky too, so you can understand this. Axis Infinity pays their players in tokens, and that the people in Singapore are taking those tokens and literally paying their rent with it. They're paying their rent, their light bill, their cell phone bill, their internet connection, right? They're paying all those things with it. And it's a game. It's a game. So how does that work? Well, it turns out that Witness is a very, very powerful force. And it turns out that advertising, which is how we've all thought that Witness was probably stretched to its max with how you would secrete value from that, this whole time it's been a farce. That in fact, the advertising you've seen has been more about almost like propaganda programs, that truly the power of Witness is something much greater than that. You see that with famous people, you see that with politicians, you see how that will run an entire narrative across the world. It's more powerful than truth. That power of Witness is being showcased inside Axis Infinity's universe. World of Warcraft is the same thing. It's just one. I don't actually play that many games, so there's probably a better example, but World of Warcraft is a multiplayer RPG, and that they've developed an entire ecosystem there. That the game itself is work for people. And they're going into work to say, I'm going to try and score Thor's hammer because I can sell the shit out of that thing. And if I get that Thor's hammer, I can put that for sale somewhere else and get that. It sounds weird, but that's just what's happening. Axis Infinity is probably larger than Apple. I'm talking about market reach. Okay, maybe not as Apple, but it's huge. We don't see how big they are because we barely even hear about it. But those things, I personally see that what's happened in the American market is that certain things are purposely being suppressed because they're waiting for the big players to unleash their technology. Keep in mind that the younger, the smaller, more nimbler, you're going to get to the market faster. And that you're watching a mass adoption purposely being slowed down. I think the SEC investigation into XRP is just one example of that. That you're watching people like Jamie Dimon saying, yeah, this whole thing's a scam. You're going to lose all your money if you go into crypto. That's JP Morgan telling you that these things these are throttle brakes. And I believe that they're being put on there because they need the time to push the metaverse, because the amount of graphics, the trillions of dollars that they're investing in that is going to hit like a motherfucker. It's going to be so strong. And that the tinier projects that are trying to build something are going to get blown away by that deluge. I'm just saying that's what I think is happening. It doesn't mean that there's not still a place for people like us. It just means that right now we are looking at not just a new frontier, but literally frontiers on top of frontiers inside of frontiers that are wrapped around the backside of this other frontier you didn't even know was there the whole time. And that if you really want to understand what's happening, I need you to stop looking at currency as a single thing. And that when you truly understand that overnight, people like us could start up a token, and that token could hit the market, and that people could instantly turn their money and start using our token for 3 days for no other reason than to oppose the government that's trying to tax them, it would be very easy to see that even the world of taxation as we see it now is not going to be able to exist in this space. And this is not about, well, if they're mighty enough, it's not about that. It's part of this new system is going to require the death of the old. It's part of the reason why you saw the economy shoot itself in the head. These are the corporations that were shooting themselves in the head in broad daylight. And that's what's telling you that they've known that the money isn't real for a long time now. That money hasn't been real for a long, 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 long time. They've always seen Witness as their currency. And they will always know that that's where the true value of what they have is. So part of the DAO is even facilitating the exchange of witness. That task is very hard for me to monetize for you. It's very difficult for me to tell you this is how much it would be worth, but it would be astronomically more profitable than all of us putting all of our money into anything else, because the power of that witness, that collective, is truly a force that's unbridled. So if you think about this outer DAO as more about the witness protocols, then you can start to see maybe what we might be able to build here. It's more of the foundational infrastructure work for these other projects to start. Let's imagine real quick, if we have this DAO set up, that we have a token, we have a founder's token, and anyone who's given as a founder automatically has this base token. This base token is not really something that's shared. Certainly it could be sold, but what I mean is it's not even our product. That founder's token is more how we measure how invested each of us are in this DAO. Our next product would be I'm going to call it Potlatch Token. That Potlatch Token would be the community token that would allow people to see our DAO, see the structure that we've created, and say, man, I like the cut of this jib. I like these guys. This is great. And they could bootstrap their project by utilizing that Potlatch token, because it's already a token that has stability and that's already there. So that person would eventually be able to put up a web page, ask for people to give Potlatch to their DAO, not Ether, but Potlatch. Potlatch is our token. We, as the founders of that token, will see value simply by other people using Potlatch. That Potlatch will be collected. They will trade that at Uniswap or some other trading system, and that DAO is now running. They're selling lemonade, they're banking, they're out on a war party, they're starting a staking operation, whatever. They're doing that, and they're collecting, they're doing whatever they want. It's their DAO, but that they just know that the land that they're on is a pretty cool place to be. If you can picture this long enough, you'd see that this could very easily turn into something like DeFi kingdoms. Let me just pull this up really quick. DeFi kingdoms. This is also a DAO. DeFi kingdoms, a DeFi game built on the blockchain, designed with usable NFTs. And when you enter this game, very annoying music. It's not annoying. I don't like it when people make me listen to music. But anyway, I'm going to connect with my MetaMask, and it's asking me for the wrong network. Let me just change this over. It's Harmony Main. Switch networks. Okay. This is the entire game right now. For example, I can go to the marketplace. I can go to the trader. And this is it. This is the entire gameplay. You convert tokens from one into another. And then you can go to the vendor if you want. And if you wanted to buy something, you could buy something here. You have a character. And everything that you do, here's the garden area. You can stake in the garden. You can help them. Their token is called Jewel Token. You can actually help their token by staking in their garden. They're promising you pool reward allocation is, they've got a $5 million pool just in this Jewel Miss token exchange. Here they have a smaller pool, $727,000 in their Jewel 1 super bid change. This is Jewel to BUSD. So basically someone's saying that, hey, I will make money. Hang on, let me turn off the music. Basically somebody said, hey, in DeFi kingdoms, I can make money because I'm under the impression people will want to play this game. They'll need to buy Jewel tokens, and I will make it easier for them to buy Jewel tokens by staking those Jewel tokens with BUSD. BUSD is just another token that a lot more people use, but basically I'm just offering outside of the Coliseum for DeFi kingdoms, I'm selling tokens that you can use for beer inside those kingdoms. And I know that some of you only have francs. So I've set up a francs to beer token stand right outside of the Coliseum, and they're making a profit from that. And that is a vending machine. It's an automated contract inside their DAO. So that DAO, you could look at our DAO, Dojo Earth, as being basically just a map. And on that map, we could create a graphical user interface. So if we wanted to, we could easily gamify it. But on that map, we would have a property, and that property would be owned by the collective witness that visits it. And that we would want that property to have certain attractions in it that would encourage people to come to this property and participate in that attraction, whether it be a staking program, whether it be an adventure game, whether it be a psychological psychic posture game where people are competing in a Thunderdome. It's all kinds of different weird stuff can happen out of this, but you're only going to have that if you have that base DAO built underneath it. So if we were to look at Dojo Earth as an educational, unanimous government tribal thing, then I think that our DAO would sort of define itself well as just focusing on those things. How do we host Zoom calls for people that want to learn how to connect their wallet? It's a very basic thing that people are always going to need. It's never going to go away. What if the person that's one of us is like, hey, I'm happy to help people with their MetaMask wallet. I'm pretty good at it. And hey, man, I could use the tokens. So now you start to notice how just as an educational framework, our DAO would start to build itself out. Each of us would be providing an opportunity to learn something about something, and that time would be compensated through the distribution of Potlatch tokens. So if someone's brand new to this, you could offer them a course here and require that they need Potlatch to enter the property. And that if they can't get Potlatch yet, you have this other way that you're buying them Potlatch for them or whatever else. The point is that you're facilitating. And the facilitating is a viable service, especially when you're trying to teach someone. You're literally weaning people off the teat of the petrodollar and showing them how to make milk. That process is a very valuable skill, and a lot of people need that. And I'm so afraid that they're going to get it through the government education system, which is going to be, you want CBDBs, you want this government token. This government token comes just like our DAO would come with certain things. That government token is going to come with a vaccine, right? All these things are what makes what's happening so powerful, because we have the ability to encapsulate witness and put value to it and create a community that understands and sees that. So that's my super long answer to that question. Sorry about that. Alex, you're good on that, right? We're gonna go to Charlotta.
Oh, that's fine. I also want to mention, we have somebody else we call him the Global Witness, Derek Bros. He kind of asked me to, mention him to you. It's called the Four Corners Hopi Land. And he has this big gathering. They're doing the same thing you're doing, man. He's a ex-CIA programmer. This guy is awesome and writing his own, he built his own computer, his own internet, basically. And I just figured I'd mention him to you because together, man, if we get this thing going, like you said, it'd be unstoppable. You got enough people. He has hundreds of thousands of people following him, and they live on a base on the Four Corners in Hopi Land.
Okay, well, I guess he's probably too big to come to one of these meetings, but
Oh no, they love it. I just told him I'd mention him in, and
great. Yeah, well, bring him here. Anyone's welcome. Yeah, good question, Mike. I don't know. Charlotta, go ahead.
All right, so this might sound like a ignorant question, but I understand, I think I understand the concept of what you're talking about, but in the world as we live in it now, I still need to go buy groceries and pay that light bill. So how is that done without turning it back into a petrodollar? Or is that something that we're looking at, do you think in a year, 2 years, or is it possible now? Am I missing something?
I think I think when it comes to American resources, the best way you're going to be able to not have to transfer that stuff back into the petrodollar is probably with something called Cash App. And I'm not trying to push them. It's just happens to be one solution. It's basically a company that's saying, hey, here's a Bitcoin credit card. And we've gone to the trouble of making it have a Visa logo on it. And because it has a Visa logo on it, you can walk into a store and buy your groceries with Bitcoin. I think that's probably your best solution right now. But maybe, Charlotte, you're more asking, well, wait a minute, how does this Potlatch token buy me groceries? And the way that happens is through an exchange. One of the services, probably one of the few services this base DAO would do is provide stability for that token. All we'd have to do this is actually really simple. First, we create the token. We build a contract. It's very simple. We deploy that contract, which means we mint it. We go to the blockchain and we say, so mode it be, there is a token called Potlatch. There will only be 100,000. That token has these rules applied to it. Anyone who owns that token can blah, 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 whatever the smart contract says. We'll just keep it simple though. This is our token. This is what it's called. That's it. That's the only smart contract. All people know is that there's a token called Potlatch, for example, and that the contract says that there will only be 100,000. Keep in mind, not all contracts actually have to say there will only be 100,000 tokens. I'm just giving an example. So those are the only two things you know about that token. You would then be able to go to an exchange, just like if you were to land at an airport, Charlotte, and go to customs and say, I need these francs converted into marks. You would do the same thing with an exchange. The exchange would be something that Dojo Earth could build. We ourselves could build that exchange, but to not confuse you, let's say we're not going to build the exchange, but we still want that token to have value. What we would do is collect a treasury, which we have, and we would go to an exchange. One of the more popular ones, sort of the McDonald's of exchanges, is, let's just say, Uniswap. It's a website you go to, and we would go to Uniswap and we would stake Potlatch for Bitcoin. Basically, we would go to Uniswap and say, hey, we think Potlatch is so valuable that it's worth 1 Bitcoin. That all 100,000 of these tokens that we're giving you, we think that that's worth Uniswap, 1 Bitcoin. And so what we just did is we provided liquidity to the exchange of 1 Bitcoin and 100,000 Potlatch. So the exchange, let's see real quick, just to show you what this looks like. Here's one of the exchanges. They have a trading volume of, look at that, almost $1 trillion. It's just amazing how fast this stuff grows. This is a brand new company, guys. Brand new company. Let's see, where's the exchange? Launch app, there it is. So if you go to launch app, this is it. I want to trade Ethereum for what? And then here's your tokens. We would be in this list. Potlatch would be in this list. And if you did a search for it, we're not in there now, but if you did a search for it, you'd pull up, let's say the DAI is actually Potlatch. So now I've got Ethereum and DAI loaded up in my exchange. And I would say, I want to trade 1 Ethereum, which is telling you there it's worth $4,112. I'm going to change that for 4,112 DAI. How did it come up with that? It just did the conversion for you. It said, well, I know 1 DAI is worth about $1. So what he really wants is he wants 4,112. That liquidity is this only works because someone said, hey, I love DAI token so much that I'm going to come to Uniswap and I'm going to stake it because I want other people to be able to trade it. So I hope that answers your question. You basically are going in exchange. Most of these are actually even built into your wallets. I think probably the next generation won't even really know what an exchange is. I'm just trying to say that it'll just sort of seamlessly be built into everything. But that if people wanted to help Dojo Earth and they needed some DAI tokens or they needed Ethereum tokens or they needed Pugawaga tokens that we don't even know about, that believe it or not, Dojo Earth, we as a collective could actually build an exchange hosted on our site and exchange tokens for people. We would make a small profit from setting that machine up, and that we would be able to do that because of smart contracts. So even though we don't have the Hubi Gooey token, because we can tap into a library on Uniswap and say, hey, we would like to contribute as a trading interface, Uniswap will say, well, sure, go ahead. And what's the address where we send the commission to? We would give them our community address, and boom, we now have the most basic rudimentary vending machine on our property. So if you look at the DeFi Kingdoms map, you could picture that Dojo Earth would have a map, and we would finally have our very first teepee. We would have our first location on that map, and it would be called the exchange. And people would know that no matter what, they can go to that exchange, click on that button, and they could buy Potlatch, or they could trade their Potlatch for cash. Now, I'm being very simple here. What I mean by that, Charlotte, is that in order to make a really stable token, you're going to need a lot of stake. You're going to need a lot of staking for that. If we were to have a $5,000 budget for Potlatch, I've never done that, but I don't know if that's enough to really provide a stable exchange for that token. I believe that token would need to have more than one staker in it, more people using it. So when you think about our token, I don't want you to look at it as we're going to start a token and make a lot of money right now. I've never done this, but I do not think that that's realistic. I think what we're looking at is that we are evangelizing our witness network, and that the way that we're tangibly doing that is by cheering for our token, talking about our token, more importantly, coming up with special things that we offer on our property that you could only get with one of our tokens. If we had that, then you're looking at a very stable token like DAI or something else, because it's just mass adoption. So it's a big move to get to that place, which is why where we're at is we're not even on the Potlatch token. If you remember, I said we're on the founders token. It's very, very different. Our founders token probably won't be exchanged that much. It'll probably be more about, this is just a distribution token. It simply says that, yeah, we have 19 founder tokens, and that they were divided and purchased by 43 different people, and that those 43 people raised $5,000, and they distributed that inside their own founder token. Now, by holding that token, the founder token, you probably aren't going to be able to sell that token at Uniswap, because none of us have chosen to stake it, but that token actually earns you profit if the DAO is profitable and paying their founders. So let's just say that we had an exchange that was so popular because we wrapped it inside a 3D game that was so cool, everyone just loved it, and that exchange made $1,000 a month in profits just from helping people buy and exchange tokens. That $1,000 would then be distributed through the founder token that you hold, and the profits would come to you that way. So the founder token isn't really like money, is it? It's more of like a key. It's more of like ownership and stake in something. So technically what you're doing, if we were to create the founders token, by the way, because we haven't decided this, but if we were to create the founders token, technically what we'd be doing is taking all that money and simply staking it internally and creating this founder token. When I say internally, we would actually still have not $5,000, but we'd have like $5,200. Well, James, where'd the $800? I mean, $4,200. Where'd the $800 go? It went to the minting fees for that token, creating the smart contract, publishing it, just like you would notarize something, right? I bought this house. You're going to have to pay a little bit of money to get that notarized. That's what we'd be doing. We'd be minting the token, monetizing it, and paying the gas to get it into each of your wallets. Now that you have that token, we're done having to spend money, because now each of us have our founder token, and that's used for voting. It's used for access to a back end, and it's used for profit distribution. So that token is sort of like it's more than just a token. It's a pass, it's a club, it's a financial tool, and it's a derivative. It's something that's generating you you profit over time. That's much different than this Potlatch token, which probably would be more about just access, and like a subway token kind of would have value. It's that kind of thing. Is
Okay,
that-
can I?
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that explanation, and that helps understand the inner workings. But I'll go back to the problem as to why I haven't finished setting up my wallet. When signing on to Cash App, I immediately get turned off because they want to go right into your bank account. And so I understand that any exchanges I do on that level are being recorded. So it's not decentralized.
Yes, really, really good point. The Cash App only solves that issue I thought you were addressing, which is that how can I go buy groceries? That's all it does. That is
Right.
still a centralized exchange, which is very, very important. We haven't even touched on that yet. I don't think you're watching the dollar bleed out in the corner right now, but it's going to take a long time, a long time. You're looking at a lot of resistance, a lot of people clinging to that thing. I don't think that we're going to see in our lifetimes the dollar end. I could be wrong, but I think it'll take a while. And there are ways to get, this is so important, Charlotte. In fact, there's like a whole day we could just discuss privacy tokens and projects like R and Monero. But there will be a huge movement in crypto, will happen very soon, when people will realize what you have realized right now. You're actually ahead by realizing that. And that is that this is fucked up. I don't want anyone to see anything that I'm doing financially. And that those things are not only solvable, they've actually been solved, but you're just living in a culture that doesn't give you easy access to those things. Just as one example, this is even a poor example, but it's just really obvious and it's true. There is a Bitcoin machine now, a vending machine that you go up to, and you can insert money into that machine and get Bitcoin from it. When I say money, I'm talking about petrodollar cash. Charlotte, if you can appreciate that, what I've just shown you is that there actually is a way of converting your petrodollars to Bitcoin, and no one knows who you are. And that those systems are rare in America, but are not rare around the world. And that there are many people that are working on those very things right now. In fact, I think that you'd find that this is such a juicy topic that Dojo Earth DAO would be focusing a lot on educating our DAO members about this very, very thing. In fact, I think that you're onto something, because I think if we could create a service that allows people to put money into Bitcoin anonymously, would be fucking amazing. Like amazing to do. It's a big grab. We're kind of way off on left field here in a tangent, and it wouldn't be something that I would ever think that the Dojo Earth DAO would ever unanimously agree on. I think it'd be something that a few people would go, hey, let's try this. And that would be a project that could run on its own and probably be pretty profitable. Debbie, good to see you. Go ahead. I can't see you, but glad you're here. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Great explanations for me. I am really like just trying to get used to the language, the new language, and my brain tends to turn off when I hear these, words like staking. Stake. If you could explain, just jump back a few steps and explain what that word means, I'd appreciate that.
Totally, great question. So when you're staking, you're taking money that you have and you're making it safely accessible for some other process. That's what staking is. It's like, James is a kickboxer, and I'm telling you, I'm going to win this fight, Debbie. I'm going to win it, but I don't have $1 million to bet. I need you to stake me on that. That's what you're doing. You're but it's safe because I would not win that fight. I would not. They would want to kill me, and I'd be like, I just want to understand you. So bad bet. But that's the principle of staking, is that you are providing the leveraged liquidity for a certain process to take place. Keep in mind that an exchange is one person wanting one thing and having another, and one person wanting one thing and having another. This actually isn't an exchange yet. This is just two people that want something. But there's something in the middle, very, very important. And that person in the middle is the market maker. Very important job. If you don't have a market maker, then those two people won't even meet. They won't even travel the hours it takes to meet at the corner of Smith and Bagger to do some sort of deal, because the last time they went there, they weren't able to make a deal. And so they stopped going. What happens is that a merchant maker comes, a market maker comes and says, wait, I can do this. And how he does it is he's saying, I know that that guy has avocados, and I know that most people don't want avocados, but I know when that one guy comes, he wants avocados so bad that he will do anything for them. So I'm going to stake this man. I'm going to take his avocados, even though I don't need them, and I'm going to store these avocados in this special jar. And this special jar, I know in 3 weeks, this guy's going to come and he's going to want his avocado. And just like last time, he was like, look, I'll give you top dollar for an avocado. And I was there and I was like, damn, if I only had an avocado. That's what staking is. You're helping to provide the liquidity necessary to create the market. The only way that would be possible is if there was a lot of cash there, is if there was a lot of cash and belief, which is the same thing. These are the same things. That if we had both those things there, that we could set up these staking pools, which would cause the network to be a place where people feel reliably comfortable going. The reason why Uniswap works, Debbie, is because no matter what time it is, no matter what day it is, you can find the rarest tokens you could possibly find on that exchange and probably make a trade. I say probably though. You could be in the middle of buying 10 tokens, but because the market cap is so small in that tokens, that after you buy 5 of those tokens, that now the price of the remaining 5 is outrageously expensive, not cheap, expensive. You might be going, well, that doesn't make any sense. But the reason why is because the market maker is there. That market maker is actually not as interested in giving you all the avocados as you want as he is in maintaining a state of avocado-ness at this location. And so he will purposely be an asshole and raise the price of avocados on you, Debbie, even though you wanted them, because he knows, I know, but Frank pays me top dollar if there's an avocado here and I don't want to lose them. So even though you want 10 avocados, Debbie, even though I have 10 avocados here, after you buy 5 of them, I have no choice but to raise the price of these remaining 5 avocados because I know Frank is coming. And I know that if I do not have liquidity of avocados when Frank arrives, my entire operation will shut down. So I've just explained to you why staking would be profitable for somebody and why it seems to even go against the entire concept of trade. But you have to understand that witness is the true commodity here, and that witness flows when someone comes to the market because they know I'm going to get some avocados when I go there. Does that help?
Yes, it does. That's great. Thank you. It's pretty abstract for me to wrap my mind around it, but it's a good picture analogy you gave there. So thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you, by the way. Almost.
Yeah.
Good to hear you. Rand, great to see you. Go ahead, my friend.
Hey, James. A couple of quick questions. In downloading the MetaMask onto my Chrome, so I get this message that says it can read and change all your data on all websites, display notifications, and modify data you copy and paste. And I assume because it says mask in it, that's its purpose, right? Is to do all those things. So I shouldn't worry about that.
So yes, you should worry. And yes, that is exactly the purpose, which is why it's warning you. Hey man, what are you doing? It's MetaMask is literally a costume that you wear before you walk into an establishment. And that costume is physically your wallet. But I need you to picture wallet a little bit differently. I need you to picture that you can hand someone your wallet, and even though you're handing it to them, they cannot take your money. It's no different than if you handed a waitress your debit card. She doesn't know your PIN. It might seem like it's suspect. You might be worried, and all those are good, but she doesn't actually have your money, even though she's holding your card. So before you enter a restaurant, you're putting your business card on your lapel pin. And because your card is there, because your wallet's there, people already know your name, or they know that actually they know the name that's on the wallet. They don't actually know your name. They know the name that's on your wallet. They know what to call you. And they also know how much you have in your wallet of each resource. Now, at first you might be, oh, that's fucked up, but just stare with me here. Because they know what resources you have, they are able to cater to you precisely based on what's inside your wallet. So believe it or not, you actually want this. Well, I'm not trying to say you want all this system. I'm trying to say that in this transaction, you want that because it is eliminating every single interface that you've ever had to log into is gone now. It's gone. That all you have to do is hit connect wallet, and that by connecting your wallet, those are your credentials. Now, those credentials can be burned. In fact, those credentials you probably don't want to show everybody. An example would be, if you're brand new to MetaMask, you've probably only ever established one address on MetaMask. In fact, if you've noticed that you could establish two, you might even think that that's kind of shady, but it's not. Because when you're walking into the store, when you truly are understanding what's happening with this technology, you're showing someone that MetaMask's entire financial history. And that's actually very important because there could be a vending machine that you're interacting with that recognizes that you have an admin token. And the admin token means no matter what time it is, 24 hours a day, if you want a cup of coffee, you get to enter whatever numbers you want in the vending machine. And it doesn't matter if you have tokens or not, because you have this override token. It's your ownership. It's the keys to your car. It's all that is just out. And you have access or you don't have access to things from that. So what I'm getting at is let's say that you have 100 Bitcoin and you don't want anyone to know you have 100 Bitcoin. Well, first of all, being very simple here, because you probably wouldn't keep 100 Bitcoin in your MetaMask wallet. Probably wouldn't. You'd probably keep that somewhere else. But let's say, just for the argument that you did, that you were keeping 100 Bitcoin in that MetaMask wallet, you may not want to walk into a place flaunting around your 100 Bitcoin. And it may not seem like you're flaunting it, but anyone who hits your address will see all the activity that you participated in while you're doing that. What's in that wallet? So let's say I have account 1 and account 2, and let's just look, copy to clipboard. Wait a minute, I'm gonna change it to Ethereum chain. We'll get to all this later, but I'm gonna, I have right now, because I changed this wallet, boom, James has got 0.229 Ethereum. That dude's got $941.34 in his wallet. Everyone knows this now on this website if I'm connected. It actually says not connected right now, so I know Uniswap cannot see this. But if I was to hit connect, not only could it see this, guys, but it could see this too. Ether scan is one of many sites. Please don't think that this is just on Etherscan, but what I'm actually going to show you is the blockchain. I'm just able to access it through Etherscan. I've gone to Etherscan, and here's the latest transaction that just came in. This is not me. This is the entire blockchain. This is not me. Look, 47 seconds, 47 seconds. What happened 47 seconds ago was that this wallet sent 0.03229 Ethereum to this wallet. So let's snoop around. Let's click on this guy. This guy, holy shit. Look, guys. He has 1,377 Ether. Catherine, find this guy, get him to join our DAO right now. I'm just kidding. But like, you see what he's got, $5.6 million in Ether right now. And this is what you would probably call a whale, right? And you know that because you're looking at, I'm telling you, this is probably a baby boomer who's new to MetaMask and has a lot of money. That's probably who this is. Do I know that for sure? No, but I'm just telling you. Now let's look at what he did. He's right in the middle of pending 2 transactions 25 seconds ago, one for 0.29. That tells me this is probably a fee on a transfer because of how much Ether he has. Keep in mind that our DAO doesn't even have this much Ether, and he's spending that much on one transaction. And he's in Ethermine. I don't know what that means. Someone here probably does. They're probably, oh, James, he's doing this or whatever. But this is every single thing that he's ever done. 3 minutes ago, 4 months ago, he's running something really big here. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's a miner. I don't know. But every single transaction is right there. Not only that, not only can I see all of his transactions, but I can see who he gave money to. This is what Charlotta was getting at, guys. And she was like, well, wait a minute. This deals with the privacy of it all. And that person, look, they're on Decentraland. They're trading DAI stable tokens. They went to SnowSwap. They did a token swap there. That's another exchange. Remember when I told you Uniswap? Well, look, here's someone who was just on Uniswap 33 days and 9 hours ago. So you can see everything. Everything. This is part of what I want the Dojo Work DAO to do, is to educate people. I want people to understand what this looks like. One of many tools, I think, would be a private TP, a room that you enter into in our DAO that would physically just show you all the interconnections of the wallet that you have hooked up. I think if someone could see that, they'd really start to understand what this is, how it works, and why they may want to consider adding some privacy to their system. Now, I would never want to have $1 million in my MetaMask wallet because it would just make me nervous. Could have a bug on my computer. My computer could fool MetaMask, all kinds of things. I'd rather have that money in a safer place. And that safer place would probably be some sort of smart contract staked DAO. Now, I'm not saying that is the ultimate safe place. You would probably argue that a paper wallet or a Trezor wallet might be the best way to keep that. Basically, you're taking the money off your MetaMask wallet and you're putting it on your Trezor device. And now you have a physical USB device that has $1 million on it. So now you're like, okay, I need to really take care of this thing versus my laptop. This is part of why you're going to find so many people do not like this stuff. They don't like this because of how dangerous it is. You're starting to sink in, I think, for some of you, that there's no undoing this. If you accidentally do something or lose something, there's no one here to fix it. You can't walk into the bank and say, hey, Karen, I need to get this. It's a different world. People are going to be very resistant to this, A. B, they're going to need something that is them proof. People are going to look for technology that will be uncorruptible by them. And they will look for something like a traditional bank. That's not going to go away. It's just going to change from what's forced on everybody into what certain people need to survive. And I think that's if you look at the modern EBT card, the welfare card, I think that's really what you're looking at the future of CBDBs are, and the future of the dollar is it'll be that. It's crypto now, but it's human proof. It's them proof. They don't want that sovereignty because of how dangerous it is. And it is. It's like being self-employed if you think about it. Not everybody's meant to be self-employed. I think the same is true for our finances. So does that help,
James, so back to the mask then. So that's just kind of they're all the masks are like that, right? So that's kind of something you just have to deal with, right?
Yep. That's just one of Mask. Another one's called Trust Wallet. CryptoDojo just came up with it. I would imagine that you're going to see, I could see us starting a wallet. I mean, a long time from now, but I could see us coming up with something like that, like a cool way where so I don't want to get too much off track, but Monero is a token where when you buy something with Monero, it's really cool because Monero says, wait a minute. All right, I need 5 people that have Monero, please. I need 5 people that have Monero, and 5 people show up. Yeah, what you need? Yeah, we just need to do a transaction here. So everyone gets in a circle and they all just start handing money to each other at random. No shit. they're randomly handing money to each other over and over and over again. It's like shell game. And 2 seconds later, the transaction's over. And if you were trying to watch that whole thing, you don't know who bought what. You can't figure it out. You're just like, well, fuck. I know that you gave money, but you gave it to one of these 5 people, and I don't know which one. And I'm being very curt about this. There's all kinds of people. Some are like, no, we've cracked Monero. But the point is that there's already a cryptocurrency out that's doing that. Why? Because they heard what Charlotta said. They thought the same thing before, which is this, how do I hide this stuff? How do I do this? And you're watching an entire industry being built on that, while the entire time there's another industry of, I don't want this much responsibility. And not only do I want this much responsibility, but I want to cover my tracks. So you're looking at the full spectrum of belief on this thing, right? From the terror to the confidence to the paranoia, it's all there. And all those people are going to be looking for help, education, and solutions that make that possible. I believe that's what the new economy is. I believe that's happening right now. We're doing it right now. Rand, anything else on that?
One last question. I started a Coinbase account last week, bought $100 of Ethereum, $100 Bitcoin. And so when I signed up, it comes up with this list of, here, what do you want to do? And there's 10 different things. Without thinking, I kind of chose, I'm going to invest. Does anyone know if that puts you in a different tax category if you're just going to use it to buy stuff? I just was wondering.
I don't know that question, Rand. I'm under the impression that well, I'm sorry. My answer is I don't know that answer. I think that taxes won't be here in a decade, but that doesn't save you from having to file this year or next year. So I don't think it's going to be possible to tax this on investments in the future. But I don't know how, keep in mind right now, they're still arguing over whether or not crypto is even an asset. It's pretty ridiculous. It's a lot of politics you're watching, because if you think about it, they would be the very first people to be like, oh, no, we got to tax this stuff. They purposely haven't done that until now. It's like I said, I think that you're looking at corporations that are trying to get their technology so they can unroll it before mass adoption, so people won't end up in other boats. That doesn't answer your question. I'm sorry, Rand. I don't know.
That's right. Thanks, James.
Anyone else have an answer for Rand on that? Okay, this will be an important part, I think, that the DAO could offer, is this education stuff, like in this the taxes, right? Like it's like a great opportunity is what I'm trying to say. All these questions are opportunities because we know others will have the same thing. Debbie, go ahead. I'm going to grab my cord, but I'm listening. I'm just have to walk over here. Go ahead.
Oops, that was from before. Sorry. No problem. Don't need it.
All right, well, I'll make you awkwardly wait as a party foul. Thank you. Rand, your hand was already up, I think. So I'm going to go to Lisa.
Hello.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Sure can. You sound great.
Okay, cool. I'm new here and it's great. I love hearing all of the stuff that sort of beginning to get a little bit of a handle on stuff. I have actually a very specific question about my MetaMask wallet. I did my very first transfer of Ethereum from Binance, and it went into the activity like it shows on the, I don't know if you know what I mean, but there's like the assets and the activity. I still have a zero balance, but in the assets, but if I go to the activity, there's a little arrow. I have my $26.31 Canadian, it's like 0.005 ETH there, but how do I, like, why isn't it showing up? I don't understand why it's not showing up under the assets or how to get it there, if that is something anyone knows anything about.
I do know something about that, and it's can be pretty confusing until you learn what's what and how to get it where. In fact, I don't even know how to help you without actually looking at your MetaMask while you're doing it,
Right.
because it's going to depend on a few different things. But I do think that that there's so many questions with MetaMask that we should allocate time for that. That we should do a session where people that are having trouble with MetaMask could maybe meet and we could share screen or something. I'm not quite ready to. I could just turn on my MetaMask and show you, but honestly, the privacy is important to me. I don't want to just show my wallet right now. I want you to know I would do it right now, but I'm just not ready. I need to create a new account and then sort of set up a tutorial thing so I can show you, but I'd be willing to do that. And I bet you that other people would be too. So maybe we can do that really soon. In fact, I do it now. I just, like I said, with my wallet thing. Does anyone have any help on that with Lisa? I don't know how you would though, unless you're actually looking at it,
Right.
because it's going to depend. There's let me at least show you this. When you start to look at what blockchain is, how do I used to be able to just pull this up on account details. No. When you start to look at what blockchain is, one of the first things that's kind of tricky to understand is why are there different networks? And most of you don't have all these networks in here. You may only have just one, but the main network right now is called the Ethereum mainnet, and it's this. And if you could picture the blockchain as like the Beast of Revelation, where like the dragon with like 10 necks and heads, that the blockchain, okay, that's maybe a little bit dramatic, but the blockchain has these different snakes in it. These different chains have their own sentience and their own autonomy. So one head, the Ethereum head, is over here and it's like, rah, and it's doing stuff. But then meanwhile, there's another head called the BSC head, the Binance Smart Chain testnet. There's another chain called the Polygon Network. It's brand new, just started. There's another chain called the XDAI. That's a governance blockchain. It's a head meant for more like governance stuff. Moon River's a chain. Harmony's a chain. So you'll notice that when I'm in Harmony, I actually have 0.00671. One is a token put out by Harmony, and it's released on their own chain. They're so big that they've started their own chain called Harmony. Avalanche is another chain. I'm saying all this, Lisa, because I want you to know that as I change chains, my balance changes too.
Okay.
Because on the Avalanche chain, I actually have AVAX, which stands for Avalanche, and it's 0.6684 Avalanche on this chain. And inside of this Avalanche network, I have my own history of things that I've done on this chain. I've claimed things at Midas DAO. I've done things, but then if I change back to Ethereum, all of that chain history is now replaced by this chain history, which shows these things. So my guess, Lisa, is what's happened is because you're on the Binance Smart Chain, because you said you came from Binance, my guess is that you might see the balance. You probably see the transfer here, which probably says 0 BNB, and it shows you here's a transfer, and you transferred it. And what you have to do is come up here to MetaMask and change from Binance Smart Chain to Ethereum mainnet. And when you do that, there's a good chance you might see your Ethereum now underneath there. I'm not saying that's what it is to fix it, but if we were going over it together, I think I could help. But that could be what's happening.
Okay, because I don't even think I have the Binance Smart Chain in my Ethereum, like under that menu yet. Is that something
here
I
at
would
the
have
top?
to import? Yeah, the Binance Smart Chain mainnet. I don't think that would show up under
Okay.
that menu on mine yet. So I would
What
have
do
to
you
do,
see under there? Do you see something under here?
just a minute. How do I?
It's okay. Look for it and
Wait,
tell me.
okay. So I go to those three dots? No.
If you see my screen, can you guys see my screen right now with the?
Yeah, I can see it. I was just trying to
Okay.
see my,
Okay.
okay, so
I'm
right
seeing-
now I have like, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that came with the MetaMask, like Repson Test Network, Coven Test Network, Rinkeby Test Network, Gorilla Test Network, and localhost, but I don't have that Binance, so it's not there. So I would have to find a way to add that, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Um,
says add network, so maybe that's what I need to do.
Yeah, it probably is a matter of adding the network, and then you're going to need some data to put into Binance. But it could be that I'm sending you up the wrong tree. I'd rather be able to look at your wallet, basically,
Okay.
and we could debug that individually, which I think we'll just have to set up a meeting for that, where all of us who are having issues with that can do that. Since you brought up Test Network,
Sorry, can I
Go
just
ahead,
jump in
Johnny.
about that? Because I was
Please, go ahead.
literally doing the same thing, but with Avalanche this morning. So you have to go to settings, and then there's an option to add network. And I just Googled up how to add Avalanche on MetaMask. So if you just Google up how to add Binance on MetaMask, it'll give you, there's three things that are important: the address, chain link, and then network explorer. So yeah. And then you'll have different balances for each network.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you, Johnny. I agree. Everything you just said. That is how you do it. I just don't know if that's where the Ethereum is right now. But my guess is that that's what's happening. Rand, is it better to put your wallet on your phone or your computer? So Rand, the key is with the MetaMask is going to give you two things. It's going to give you a multi-phrase password thing. And then you're also going to probably have a MetaMask password too. You need both those things. If you have both those things, I want you to start not worrying at all about if it's on a computer or a laptop, because you could just download the MetaMask app on your phone and it will ask you to enter those 13 words and your password. And then boom, now your wallet is on your phone. That's what that warning was about when it was telling you, hey man, I'm going to be doing this and doing this and doing this and doing this. That's why. It's decrypting that wallet and putting it on your phone now, because you have the master phrase for it. So what I would consider is that I have a laptop that's dedicated to crypto, supposed to be dedicated to crypto. You're looking at it right now. And that this laptop, I consider just really, really important. And so I don't travel with it, things like that. It could be your mobile phone. You could do the same way, just whichever one you prefer. I prefer the laptop, but I think it's just because that's just how I learned it. I don't necessarily know if there are advantages to the laptop. I can tell you that there's some sites that I'm not able to enter unless I'm on my laptop. And so it's better for me to have my wallet, but I just set up a different wallet. I have a PC downstairs. I have a wallet that's just on that PC. I have a wallet that's on my phone, and I have 2 or 3 wallets on my phone because I'm just learning the technology. I'm debugging stuff all the time. And then I have 2 wallets here on this laptop. So I have a combination of probably 5 wallets, and I'm not even counting the wallets that they give you when you sign up for Coinbase. You don't even know that, but you actually have a wallet there too. So multiple wallets is pretty common in this world. Having those keys is crucial. I'd rather have those keys than I would have to rely on that laptop ever not working one day. As long as you have those keys, you pull it up on another machine. In fact, part of an exercise would be that we should recover our wallets. Lisa was showing you guys test network. we can set up a class where we're giving test money to each other. It would be a really good exercise if you guys are interested in that. It would be one of the things the DAO would offer is a MetaMask course every Monday or something, depending on who was teaching it and if it was beneficial to them, right, to give their time into teaching that kind of thing. But that would be one of the things this DAO I think would be very helpful to do, is help educate people on the MetaMask, get them really comfortable with it, and more importantly, get them to hopefully make a mistake as early as possible, just so it really, really hits home how important wallet management is. It's literally everything. There's not a bank you can go to and ask for help. That's why crypto isn't for everybody. It's only going to be for those who can afford this kind of thing. So, Danny, good to see you, buddy. Go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really doing my best to try and understand all this, just the wave of technologies that are coming. And I definitely feel like I see what you see. And for my life in general, I just haven't really had extra income to invest. So I haven't invested in anything, any crypto or anything. But I want to when that becomes feasible, and I'm trying to do my best to learn as much as I can and be prepared for that, because it will be, I think pretty soon Jordan and I will get ahead of the game, so get ahead of the mortgage basically. But so one question was, you were just talking about wallets and like the key. So every wallet has a key, right? That key is the number for the wallet. And it is a wallet, like a wallet's just a folder, a program that allows for can you explain?
Yeah, sure, Danny. It's a great question. Yeah. So first of all, we're definitely going to have a beginner MetaMask course. I just hearing, and this is great. This is exactly why I want to have this. So Melanie, I know Melanie right now is probably nodding her head, but yes, if you want to take that beginner MetaMask course, just let Melanie know, and she'll probably just ask. Melanie, I'm speaking for you right now, but she'll probably ask like, what's the best time and when we can do it. But I think it'll help the most is actually doing this, actually doing it. But to answer your question, Danny, the real gold here with this currency is a hash string. OX465211164 blah 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 blah. It's a hash string. That's really what the money is. It's this hash string. It's a very, very long string that you wouldn't want to write down. It's too long, and that would be your money. And so all a wallet is something that keeps a file very, very hidden. That's all, right? So the file's there, but it's very hidden. That's all the wallet's doing. That's its only job.
And so there are.
Go ahead.
There are wallets that are more like centralized, connected to the bigger exchanges, and then you could have your own wallet, but it's harder to manage, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
One company is called Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet is a wallet that was started by, looks like this little guy. That's MetaMask, whoops, but next to it is Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet was actually started by Binance. Why? Because they're like, dude, we need people to not lose their money. And so this is just like MetaMask, except for it's just called Trust Wallet. Exact same technology. It works exactly the same way. Inside this wallet, I've had Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, and Smart Chain, for example. It shows the exact same things that you would see on Etherscan. Why? Because this wallet knows the address and it's just showing me the history of the wallet. So the history is not what's worth money, and you'll never see on the screen what's actually worth money. But the wallet itself is able to check that block and say, hey, is Danny claims that he's got OX341655 blah 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 blah. And the wallet comes back because it asks the blockchain and says, yep, dude's fucking loaded, man. Yeah, he's got this many Bitcoin, or he's got this or that. How does it know that? Because you have that hash in your wallet, and because that robot is able to verify that hash on the blockchain. That's what mining is, Danny. It's verifying hashes. It's all of us have decided that each of us can check whether or not something is counterfeit. And we do that by running it through this program that verifies its block. The person that verifies the block first did a lot of work for a lot of other people. They helped him out because they went and verified every transaction inside that wallet, and not really wallet, but inside that block, and came back and said, yeah, this is a legit Bitcoin that Danny has. When enough people agree that Danny's Bitcoin is legit, it's now verified on the chain, and you can go anywhere you want, and wherever you go, if that Bitcoin's verified, someone else will gladly say, yes, I believe in that Bitcoin too. Why? Because it doesn't want to spend about 36 hours on an ASIC miner running through all those hash transactions to determine, is this valid? It'd be like coming to the grocery store, giving a $20 bill, and them having to take it to the back and analyze the pubic hairs they found in it to see if it's, legit or not. So people have done that already, and they're just listing on the block, I know Danny's digits are legit. And that's how you have money. It's witness. If you think about it, it's witness enforced money, right? It's verified witness by other people that agree that hash is in fact worth money. If you drop that hash, it belongs to anybody who finds it. Anybody. That's all the ownership is do you have the hash? And you do right now.
What would that mean? Sorry to interrupt. What would that mean to drop the hash?
If you were to drop your wallet, and if the wallet was to actually print, like if it actually had in the software itself the actual hash for that Bitcoin, it's just an address. It's just 0x5641, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on for a long time.
If someone
had that combination of keys and they were to spend that, your money would be gone, because it wasn't your money, because you let someone else have that hash. In fact, think about it this way. If you could get in flow state, like pure flow state, where you're like the luckiest person in the world, right? Because you're in pure flow state. I swear you could sit down at a computer and say, and if you hit every number right in exactly the right order, boom, you're a multimillionaire. Just like that. But these strings are so long. They're so long that it's very, 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 very caloric to even picture how that would even be possible, right? Of the thousands of monkeys over a million years, how long would it take them to type Shakespeare? It's the same kind of thing. But if you're in flow state, Danny, I think it could happen. But that's a whole other topic.
I did have a few more. I know we're getting over time. I can save questions for another. Or
so it is 2:00. This is normally when we would end the dojo. So let me just I'm happy to stay, Danny. I just want to, let's do a clean break so people can go. If you guys need to go, it's very, very polite. You could have left earlier. That's fine too. But before you do, I need you to know that if you want that beginner MetaMask course, I'm going to see if Melanie said yes, but you need to check with Melanie, and we can arrange that. Could even do it tomorrow, but that's just assuming that.
No, that's fine. We're good.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
So
we're fine.
I think that's,
Yep.
Melanie and I both knew that was coming, the MetaMask thing. We just didn't know when or how. So if anyone's interested in that, definitely let Melanie know. And we
Johnny
can-
B says good too. We're all laughing how we suck at it. So
yeah, I lost $1,300 3 weeks ago on MetaMask.
okay.
I didn't lose it because then the next day, one of you guys sent me that money in Ethereum. So I was saved. I shouldn't have been. You should have let me burn for that. That was really still hurting for that. But this is all part of it. I really mean this sincerely. I hope you lose money quickly, because I'm hoping if you do it quicker, it won't be as much. I'm hoping that at least one very small transaction breaks very soon for you, because it really just doesn't sink in until you watch that happen, until you're laying down going, wow, I literally just burnt that money in the air. I opened it up out of my wallet and I set it on fire and I just watched it burn. And there's no one I can call. There's no one I can call. Try and picture what that's like when you've been living through the vaccine stuff. Like, picture how much psychology it would take for you to even be able to accept something like that. I think that most people are not going to like it. And I think that's why you're seeing such a strong resistance to it, is because of just how powerful it is. All right, so we've done the clean break. Anyone can go. You're free to go. but Danny, go ahead. If you had something else to ask, I'm more than happy to see if I can help.
Thanks. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot I could ask, but probably a lot of it's more for I can wait for some basic course or some basic tutorial kind of thing. But you were talking about the DAO and I'm gonna say, okay. So I'm gonna see if I kind of understand things and you can correct me. The DAO, no, it's not even coming out. Basically, I'm thinking about Dojo Earth and I'm thinking about the DAO. Would you create tokens from the DAO? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So is the DAO like, I mean, is it like Ethereum and Bitcoin? And then because
Yes.
aren't those okay?
Yep. And in fact, when we made our token, we'd probably be forking. Remember that word forking? We'd probably be forking the Ethereum token. I say probably because it may not be that token. It may be there's another token that we like even better, but that we would build our contract using that token as sort of a base. And that base just has some real basic thing. One of the things that every token has is a balance call. What that means is you can literally ask your money, hey, how much money does wallet X5642168994412 have? And that's the wallet. That's not the hash. That's just the wallet address. And the coin built into the coin of Ethereum, the coin itself is the ability to look up how much that wallet has. So this is smart money. It has built-in contracts. Most tokens will have 3 function calls built into them. Transfer, I want to send this token to Danny. I want him to have it now. And that transfer is very simple. It says, all right, well, are you the owner? And you are because it's in your wallet. And all right, well, what's Danny's address? And you give it Danny's address. And then it says one more thing. Are you willing to pay the gas to say that it's legit? And that's when MetaMask comes up and says, hey, do you want to send this contract
Be careful.
Ethereum? If you say yes,
What?
now, Danny, you don't have that coin, someone else does now. That's a transfer. And that transfer is built into the token Ethereum itself. The actual token itself has the code that allows you to transfer that to someone else. And it allows you the ability to check a balance. The third thing is, I guess just access. I don't even know. Maybe 3 isn't right, but we can add as many functions as we want. One example could be that when that token, anytime you try and interact with that token, that token, no matter what, has to go to a certain website and type something into something. We could have all kinds of crazy rules on that. Of course, it makes our token less easy to trade. So most people keep their tokens as simple as possible, but we could certainly as a DAO have those things in there. But let me go back, because I think, Danny, that even thinking about tokens right now isn't going to help. I think that if we have this MetaMask course where we're just, when I say course, I just mean one day, but if we're all transferring money to each other and it's fake money, so none of us are spending it, I think this is going to sink in a lot more. And only then we can start talking about the DAO, because I think then you'll just have more tools to where you can start to picture what it looks like. So I wouldn't expect it to make sense, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I want to ask another question, and this would be probably more for the future, but I'm curious if this would make sense. Is you would have the DAO. So like the DAO is just a pool of money from a community or from whatever. Yeah, it's just a pool of money. And so I'm sure you know about Steam It. I never really did anything on there, but they were rewarding likes and rewarding content creators. So could the DAO like support Dojo Earth content creators and that kind of a thing with tokens, or is that kind of a potential? Oh, I got it.
Yes,
I can't.
yes. That's exactly it, Danny. It wouldn't have to be that way, but yeah, a lot of people set it up that way, and that is how it would work. Yeah, that not founder tokens, but potlatch tokens. Again, this is a different kind of thing. that, yeah, if you're visiting Dojo Earth every day, for example, our DAO could have a rule, the Dojo Earth DAO, not this tribal DAO, but that website DAO, because keep in mind that website probably may not be a unanimous decision. It could be that our DAO, well, no, we don't all want to run a website, because what if something happens and we have to put money into it to fix it? I don't want my money going to the website. I'm just saying someone could say that. And because our DAO is a unanimous DAO, we wouldn't be able to participate in that. That's if we set up the DAO that way. But after we set that up, some of us may say, hey, we should put the website back online and do that. And those people would be beholden to the responsibility of maintaining that, and would only be able to do that if they were to find it profitable in some way, which means that they could say anyone who wants to participate in Dojo Earth has to own one Potlatch token. Well, that all of a sudden is a huge value. Now you're coming back to the tribal DAO going, hey, we're going to launch a website and everyone on here is going to be required to get one of our tribal tokens. Most of the people in the DAO would go, that sounds like a great idea. I like that a lot. So the governance of it will really determine what the DAO is going to look like. The DAO doesn't have to even be about money. Right now, if all of us just own Ethereum, that's a DAO because we all share something in common. What that common thing is that we all own Ethereum. It could be that we're all in this room. That's what makes it a DAO. The very first thing you're going to have to do, though, if you're going to play in the DAO, if you're going to work in the DAO, if you're going to do anything in the DAO, is you're going to have some kind of wallet. And so that's why I think it's probably better, if you haven't done the wallet thing yet, do the course first, really wrap your head around that wallet part, and then let's look at the DAO from there, because it's a big jump is all I'm trying to say. Anyone else have anything? And if you have more, go ahead. Okay. All right, well, let's close it. Thanks for being here, everybody. And do not feel pressured to enter the DAO right now. You could still come to these meetings without doing it. It is okay. It is okay. And yeah, Melanie's been in chat saying all that other stuff. So looks like we're all set for that too. Tycho, the only reason why Tycho's asked me a private question, but it's a good public question, and maybe he just didn't know that it was private, but he's asking, will the DAO's address handle other ERC tokens? What he means is can I send Matic to the DAO? Can I send Bitcoin to the DAO, other tokens? The only reason why the website only has Ether is just because I just picked one, and was just like, we'll just start it with Ether. That's really the only reason why. Yes, you can send different tokens to the DAO. But when you go to the page, our main DAO page, it's just right now only, it's just not going to show you that balance too. It's just going to show you the Ethereum balance. So yeah, that address, if you're savvy enough with MetaMask, you probably say, well, I'd rather just send something else, and that's fine. Matic is great. It's definitely a good token. I'm fond of it myself. So, all right, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for looking into it. And yeah, I hope to see you soon. I would like, if the DAO is something people are interested in, I would like for us to have a weekly meeting. It doesn't have to be Monday. I was sort of actually originally thinking Tuesday, but I wanted to do this today because tomorrow I just want to work on some code for the DAO. There's some things I want to write for it, just to kind of show you guys where I think it could go. So, but maybe on Tuesdays we could just sort of have a regular DAO meeting. It's not like you'd have to go. There'd be a recording available, things like that. But so maybe look out for that. We'll see how it frames itself.
Yeah,
Thank you for
definitely.
staying
We'll
over
work that
late
out.
too.
Okay.
Yep.
Definitely.
All right, let's all say goodbye. Unmute. If anyone has anything else to say, now's the time to say it.
Thank you, James.
Thanks, James. Thanks, Catherine.
Really good.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right, thanks everyone. Learned
Bye,
a lot.
everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is
Talk to you
good.
soon.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.